We've had this discussion several times about Cole Caulfield because Montreal Canadiens fans can overreact once in a while. But we're having this discussion instead about a guy on Team Canada. Because if you're taking a look at the Canadian squad at the World Juniors this season, you'll see some of the guys at the top and say, ooh, my goodness, Dylan Cousins is out here with 7 points in 2 games. You have Dawson Mercer, 5 points in 2 games played. That's absolutely incredible. You have all these other guys over here for the World Junior squad who are actually doing some very good things on Team Canada. But then you have the bottom of the list. Because when it comes to some of the guys who are down there in the 0 points column, hey, Connor Zary has played 2 games, 0 points. What's up with that? You have Braden Schneider who played that 1 game. He got suspended, so he's got 0 points. That's probably the only one that actually makes sense. Caden Korzak, 2 games played, 0 points. What's up with that? How do you have 0 points on a team that scored 16 goals in its first game and that had another win over the Slovaks yesterday? But towards the tail end of this list is another player who, in 2 games played, only has 1 point. And it's causing Twitter fans to absolutely go ballistic about how this guy isn't really as good as we thought he would be. Which to me is complete bogus, and we'll get into why, but today let's talk about Quinton Byfield, a 2nd overall draft pick at the 2020 NHL entry draft by the Los Angeles Kings, and how in the most previous 2 games, Byfield only has 1 point. And that shouldn't be a big deal, right? Because when you have 2 games played, you have a guy who only has 1 point. It doesn't automatically mean that he's really bad or that he's really good or whatever. It's just, he's played 2 games and he's only scored once. Seriously, bro. I've been seeing so many people on Twitter talking about how Quinton Byfield is absolutely a bust because this is a guy who has been disappointing and he hasn't had his fair share of dominance like we thought we would see out of him at this year's World Juniors. Because we saw Alexis Lafreniere at the 2019 World Juniors when he was a 17-year-old player go over to the WJC, not be given any playing time, and have him actually not really do all too much on the stats as a result. Then the next year, we saw him as an 18-year-old play in the World Juniors, absolutely take that tournament by storm, and everybody was like, okay, Alexis Lafreniere is good, but you know who I'm expecting next year to have his fair share of the spotlight? This guy, Quinton Byfield, who was also on that World Junior squad as a 17-year-old. Remember, Lafreniere is a year older than Byfield in terms of the actual year. Lafreniere was an October 2001 birthday, Byfield was an August 2002 birthday. So, when Byfield was 17, he played in the World Juniors, he didn't really do much. And so we had this assumption from many fans that said, okay, because Lafreniere played at the World Juniors at 17 years old and he wasn't great, and then at 18 years old he was amazing, we're going to see the same thing out of Byfield after Byfield at 17 years old in 2020 was not great too. We're going to see this guy in 2021 come to the house and tear it down, right? Quinton Byfield is going to come out here as the undisputed number 1. But so far, that hasn't been the case. It's Dylan Cousins at the top, it's Dawson Mercer at the top, and you could say that a lot of that has to do with deployment, but, the fact is there still are so many people out there talking about how Quinton Byfield is not repeating the Alexis Lafreniere thing so far. It's only been 2 games, and now we have people talking about how Byfield is disappointing. And I pretty much just have one thing to say to those who are letting 2 games out of a stacked Team Canada playing Quinton Byfield as one of the lowest played forwards in the entire game. Yeah, calm down, bro. Hold on. It's just 2 games. Okay, let's say Quinton Byfield comes out here and he finishes off the tournament at half a point a game. Okay, cool. He plays, 11 or 12 games in the World Juniors. Can you even play 12 games in the World Juniors? I don't know. Let's say he plays 11 or 12 games. He has 6 points. Okay, does that automatically make him worse, let's say, than a Tim Stützle? Because Tim Stützle playing for Team Germany is over here, playing for this team that is really just not all too great, but he's still looking really good and he's still producing. Hey, the opportunity is different there, man. You can't just directly compare 1-to-1 because Stützle is by far the best player on his team. Quinton Byfield is one of the many great players on his team. Like, if you take Quinton Byfield, put him on any other team in this tournament, you could guarantee he's probably going to get a lot more than 12 minutes a night. Take a look at the game sheets over here. This is the most recent game against Slovakia. And you see the forwards. Perfetti, 17 minutes. McMichael, 19. Krebs, 16. Then you have all the other guys. Newhook, 16. Cousins, 19. Quinn, 15. You thought 15 was small? Hey, take a look at this. It's the next line. It's Connor Zary and Quinton Byfield with 12 minutes apiece. Pelche had 14. Then you had Tomasino with 8. And Ryan Suzuki with 9. And Dawson Mercer with 12, who actually had a lot of shorthanded time as well. So this Team Canada is figuratively the men amongst boys in this tournament, and I say figuratively because literally it is a boys amongst boys tournament over here. You kind of get what I'm saying here. They're all underage hockey players, but Byfield's going to be fine. Like, don't let 2 games where he's playing on what is essentially an all-star team of prospects deter you from the fact that he still is one of the most high upside picks that you could have made at 2nd overall in the 2020 draft. This is a guy who is gonna become great. Probably. He has the potential to become great. But I'm gonna say this, 2 games at the World Juniors at the start of the tournament is not gonna define whether or not that is now or never. Because there's still the possibility that Byfield could just find his game. Seriously, the most recent game against Slovakia saw Byfield not really do all too much in my opinion, but when he did have the puck, there was one very distinct moment where he was kind of at the goal line, trying to scan his options, trying to look for a pass out in front, but I was kind of screaming at my TV, and if you saw the live stream yesterday, you would have seen this, that, oh my gosh, the goalie is down, Byfield, just turn and shoot it, the goalie has space up over his arm, just exploit that and score. But Byfield wasn't really looking at the goalie. He was looking for the other guy to pass to, and as a result, yeah, there was a wide open scoring opportunity, probably just like a few meters away from him that he didn't take because he didn't see. And that was kind of like the only defining moment of Quinton Byfield, in my opinion, for the most recent Slovakia game. And it's little things like that, you know, because once Byfield starts actually, you know, finding his game a little bit more, because let's be honest, the guy hasn't played since like March. The Sudbury Wolves were an OHL team and the OHL hasn't played since March, so come on. It's been so long for Byfield. You're not going to discredit the 82 points he had in 45 games as a guy who was 17 for the entire year in the OHL last year, just because of 2 games at the World Juniors where he only has 1 point, right? The same can be said about Podkolzin, the same can be said about Caulfield, and all the other top prospect guys whom their fan bases are expecting so much out of in such a small capacity that when you don't have it, it's all of a sudden the end of the world. Dylan Cousins came out here with 6 points in the first game against Team Germany. Does that all of a sudden mean he is going to break Peter Forsberg's record of like 4 points a game in however many games? Probably not, you know? I mean, if he does, that'd be cool. But I don't want to say it's likely, right? You don't let small sample sizes like these define entire paths of careers or tournaments for players who still have so much more to improve upon in the short day-to-day spans that this tournament goes on for. So, I don't know if it's really in particular LA Kings fans, because Kings fans, hey, if you guys want something good to talk about, your goalie over there, my gosh, this goaltender prospect playing for the Czech Republic team, you guys, you have some very good, interesting things to look forward to. Lucas Parik over here with a shutout against Team Russia at the World Juniors. This is the first time Team Russia has been shut out in 20 years. And a Kings prospect did that, a 3rd-round guy from 2019. Yo, if you're a Kings fan out there and you're disappointed in Byfield, first off, stop being disappointed in Byfield and just be looking forward to what he's got in the long-term future. But secondly, this goaltending guy that you have, this is a prospect over here, and you should be very excited for that. But that's just a small little tangent for the Kings fans that are watching this video, because I know the Kings fans are very, very kind to me for some reason, you know, and it's funny, I say this on my streams all the time, and I say it in the videos all the time as well, but Kings fans are by far the kindest fan base that I've encountered here on YouTube that actually has quite a big capacity, because Canucks fans can be nasty, Leafs fans, Habs fans, they can all be nasty, Detroit fans, they're pretty civil, I'll say, but the Kings fans just shower everybody with kindness, and I love that. But yeah, if you're not a Kings fan and you're complaining about Byfield too, please stop. Team Canada is still undefeated. Team Canada, while not looking great in the Slovakia game because they got too fancy, still ended up winning. And sure, Slovakia probably is not the team you want to be really close with in a game towards the end of the third period, but they won anyway, and there still are so many other more games for this Canadian team to play. So talk to me in the comments what you think about Quinton Byfield. Am I overreacting? Talking about the overreaction from everybody else on social media. If not, tell me in the comments below. If so, tell me in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down the Revenant, because when I think of Quinton Byfield, I think of the Sudbury Wolves, and when I think of wolves, I think of Arctic animals, and I think of cold snow stuff, and I think of the Revenant because of Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, comment down below in the comments the Revenant for a chance to be featured in the next World Juniors video. If you made it to the end, I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.